Welcome back, everybody, to another AI News Roundup. This time we are absolutely swimming in source material. We've got Reddit threads, Discord debates, Twitter trends, news articles, you name it. And we're going to dive into all of it. But just to be clear, we're not going to just, read headlines and call it a day. No,
Yeah.
we're going deeper than that,
It's
folks.
just we are going to extract like the coolest, the most thought-provoking developments, and then we're going to try to unpack what they actually mean for you, like the listener you out there in the world. Because let me tell you, the AI world is moving fast, so buckle up.
Yeah, it really is remarkable to see just how quickly things are progressing. I mean, think about it. Both GPT-4 and Claude 1 are celebrating their second anniversaries. 2 years already. Can you believe that? It feels like just yesterday they were brand new. I know. It really makes you wonder what the next 2 years will bring. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Mm.
there's a lot happening right now. And speaking of big, Google's Gemini 2.0 just dropped. App integration is getting even better. And there's this new flash thinking model that's supposed to be way more intuitive.
Yeah.
And get this, they're even hinting at native image generation down the line. So, what do you think about this flash thinking thing? Is this going to change everything, like how we interact with AI?
Well, the idea behind it is to make AI interactions feel more instantaneous and natural.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to just think of something and have the AI understand it immediately without having to type it out. It's like having your thoughts seamlessly translated into action. Pretty cool, right? I think this could be huge, especially with how much Gemini is trying to integrate with the apps we use every day.
Yeah, that would be a total game changer, like having an AI that can read your mind almost.
But Google isn't the only one making waves. Cohere just launched their Command A model, and it's massive. We're talking 111 billion parameters and a context window of 256,000 words that's like enough to process a whole novella in one go. And the best part is it's available for both research and commercial use. Although there are some funny bugs going around, like that whole thing with prime number queries. Come on, Cohere, get your primes straight. But kidding aside, I do think it's really interesting how more and more companies are offering access for both research and commercial use.
Right, and that's actually a pretty smart strategy. Offering access to researchers really helps with model improvement and getting wider adoption. And at the same time, providing commercial licenses can help fund further development. It's a win-win. Yeah, it totally makes sense. All right, let's do a quick rundown of a few other releases that caught our eye. So Meta launched Dynamic Ton, or DYT, and it's all about optimization. You see, it replaces the normalization layers in transformers. Now, think of normalization layers like a system for balancing information flow within the model, keeping everything running smoothly. DYT says goodbye to all, that it just bypasses normalization altogether and somehow manages to boost performance without adding extra computational steps.
And that's significant because those normalization layers, they're a standard part of these really complex models. So DYT is kind of like a clever alternative, and it could lead to even more efficient AI architectures down the road.
Very cool. Now, next up, we have Alibaba's QWQ32B. And let me tell you, this one is turning heads. It's amazing at math coding, problem solving, you name it. And here's the kicker. It's free to use under the Apache 2.0 license. This open source approach is a pretty big deal, means anyone can use it, tinker with the build on it, and it's already making waves like on LiveBench, which is this popular benchmark for language models. QWQ is performing incredibly well. It's even surpassing DeepSeek R1. So what do you think this means for the industry, having these powerful models freely available like that?
Well, I think it's a major shift. Open source models like QWQ, they have the potential to really level the playing field. Smaller companies, researchers, even individuals, they can all access and utilize cutting edge AI technology. I mean, this could lead to a surge in innovation because more people can experiment and build upon these models.
That's what I'm talking about. I can't wait to see what people come up with. Oh, and Google also released Gemma 3. And this one is packed with features. It comes in a bunch of different sizes, supports over 140 languages, has a context window of 128,000 words, and it's considered the best in its class for running on a single GPU, which is amazing for accessibility. They also released Shield Gemma 2, which is an image safety checker built on Gemma 3. It seems like they're really acknowledging the growing need to think about the ethical implications of all this increasingly powerful AI.
Absolutely. I mean, as these models become more sophisticated, it's really important to make sure we're using them responsibly. And it's encouraging to see companies like Google taking a proactive approach to that. But it's not just about safety either. Think about Gemma 3's broad language support. That could be a game changer for how we interact with information and technology across different cultures. I mean, imagine a world where language is no longer a barrier to knowledge or connecting with other people.
That would be incredible. Right. I hope you're still with me because we've got a lot more to cover. AI2 just released their open source model, Almo 232B. And get this, it's trained on 6 trillion words. And early testing shows that it's actually outperforming some GPT versions on academic benchmarks.
Wow, 6 trillion words. That's mind-boggling. And the fact that it's an open source model achieving such impressive results, I think it really speaks to the collaborative spirit of the AI community right now. Everyone's pushing the boundaries together. And it also highlights just how important data is for developing these powerful models.
Yeah, data is like the fuel for these AI engines. And speaking of fuel, we have AI 21's Jamba 1.6. It comes in both large and mini versions, has structured JSON output for easy integration, the 256,000 word context window, and the ability to utilize external tools. So what's the big deal with this structured JSON output thing? Why is that such a game changer for developers? It's all about making AI integration super easy. Imagine JSON as like this universal language for data, right? So structured JSON output basically lets developers plug AI models directly into their applications. It's huge because it means less time wrestling with messy data and more time, actually creating cool user experiences. And speaking of making things easier, the Unsloth AI platform is getting some pretty major upgrades. We're talking full fine-tuning support, 8-bit calculations for better efficiency, reduced VRAM usage, and they've even added Windows support. It's really becoming the go-to platform for working with these increasingly complex models.
Yeah, I think Unsloth AI's popularity really comes down to their focus on user experience. It's like they created this toolbox specifically for AI, making those complex tasks more manageable and accessible. These new upgrades just show their commitment to making things even easier for developers and researchers.
Yeah, I love that analogy. Like an AI toolbox is perfect. All right, lightning round time. Perplexity AI is now available in the Windows Microsoft App Store and Hugging Snap, which is this offline vision language model for your phone. It's available on Test Flight. So now let's talk about how AI is shaking things up in the world of software development. AI-assisted coding is everywhere these days with AI co-pilots popping up in like every IDE. But some people are worried that we're becoming a little too reliant on these tools, Like, are we sacrificing true coding skills for the sake of speed and efficiency? What do you think?
That's a valid concern for sure. While these tools can definitely boost productivity and help us catch errors, it's still super important to have a strong foundation in coding principles. I mean, if you just blindly rely on AI to write code without understanding the logic behind it, you're going to run into problems eventually. So think of AI co-pilots more like helpful assistants, not replacements for skilled developers.
So it's all about finding the right balance, like having an AI apprentice by your side. That's a cool way to think about it. Speaking of apprentices, Quoto Gen 1.0 just launched, and it's taking AI assistance to a whole new level. This IDE plugin actually embeds agentic AI, so you can have direct interaction between these powerful language models and practical coding tasks. What does that even mean for the future of software development?
So agentic AI in this context, it means AI systems that can understand and carry out tasks autonomously. So integrating that directly into coding could make workflows way more streamlined. Imagine this. You describe a feature you want to implement, and the AI just generates the code for you right there in your IDE. It's like having a super-powered coding partner.
Oh my God, that's mind-blowing, and the integrations just keep getting better. You can now link Gemini 2.0 to the OpenAI Agents SDK with just one line of code change. That's insane. And Deep Learning AI just launched this new course on building agents with long-term memory. This is a huge step towards creating those personalized AI assistants that learn your preferences and anticipate your needs.
It really is exciting to think about. Imagine an AI that remembered your past projects, understands your coding style, and can even predict what you're trying to achieve. It would be like having a truly collaborative AI partner, not just a tool.
It's like having an AI that grows with you as a developer. That's
Amazing.
All right. Let's switch gears for a minute and talk hardware. AMD Radeon GPUs are trying to get broader architecture support on Windows. They want to be a major player in the AI world. Meanwhile, MLX LM has a new home, and H100 rental prices at SF Compute are surprisingly low. It's clear that the AI hardware landscape is changing all the time.
It's a really dynamic market, driven by the increasing demands of these powerful AI models. Companies like AMD are stepping up to provide more accessible and affordable hardware solutions. And ultimately, the competition is good. It drives innovation and makes AI more available to everyone.
I love that competition breeds progress. Right. Quick conference rundown. AI Div 25 just wrapped up in San Francisco. GTC has a fireside chat planned with Jan LeCun, and NVIDIA's Bill Daly. The Interrupt conference is coming up, and Kipu AI is happening in Chile. The AI world definitely loves its conferences.
And those events are so important for collaboration and knowledge sharing within the AI community. They bring together all these brilliant minds from around the world, and that helps spark new ideas and move the field forward.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about open source showing. There's been some debate about whether banning Chinese models could slow down progress in the U.S. And then there's this whole open source showdown going on with OpenAI accusing DeepSeek of being state-controlled. It's definitely a complicated landscape. What are your thoughts on the whole open source versus closed source debate in AI?
Well, it's a really complex issue with valid points on both sides. Open source promotes transparency, collaboration, and accessibility, and that can lead to faster innovation and democratize AI. But closed source models offer more control over things like security, intellectual property, and commercial viability. So finding the right balance is crucial.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for sure over on Reddit. Things are buzzing about Gemma 3. The local llama community is sharing tips on fine-tuning using Unsloth. They're raising questions about Sesame CSM1B's performance. And they're even talking about the possibility of decentralized LLM deployment using platforms like Akash, IPFS, and Pocket Network. So what are the implications of decentralized LLMs? Could that be the future?
Decentralized deployment of large language models could be huge.
Yeah.
Imagine a network of interconnected AI models accessible to anyone, anywhere, without being controlled by any single entity. It could make AI more resilient to censorship, more equitable, and more powerful collectively. But of course, there are challenges like ensuring data security, managing computational resources, and maintaining consistency across a distributed network.
It's a bold vision that could change how we interact with and use AI. Reddit is also buzzing about SDXL video generation. OpenAI Sora transforming cityscapes into dystopias, and the ongoing open source debate. It seems like every day brings new ethical considerations to the table.
It's more important than ever to engage in these conversations and create frameworks for responsible AI development. As AI gets more powerful, we have a responsibility to make sure it's used for good.
Absolutely. All right, let's finish up with some Discord highlights. Gemma 3 is dominating the conversation over there. People are discussing its integration with various tools, comparing to other models, and reporting some runtime issues. There are also growing concerns about increased VRAM consumption with the Vision update. It sounds like Gemma 3 is kind of a mixed bag with impressive capabilities, but also some technical hiccups.
Well, that's pretty normal for new models. There are usually some initial challenges. But as developers and users provide feedback, those issues tend to get addressed pretty quickly. The main thing is that Gemma 3 is generating a lot of excitement and pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
So what are you most excited about when it comes to Gemma 3?
For me, it's the potential, Gemma 3 could really empower developers and researchers with a versatile and powerful tool. But yeah, keeping an eye on that VRAM consumption is going to be important as these models become more demanding.
Definitely something to watch. I'm just blown away by all the innovation happening right now. It feels like we're on the verge of something huge in the AI world.
We are, without a doubt, and it's all happening so fast. So to everyone listening out there, I encourage you to explore the resources we talked about today. Things like the AI Eng World's Fair, the Deep Learning AI course on building agents with long-term memory. There's so much to learn and discover, and the possibilities really are endless.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to dive in and experiment. Who knows? You might just create the next big thing in AI. And that brings us to our final thought for today. With all these amazing tools and advancements, what role will you play in shaping the future of AI? Will you be a user, a developer, a researcher, or maybe even a pioneer in a field we haven't even imagined yet? The choice is yours. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.